right? When we add in the CSS code to the HTML, the three options we have completed, we know how to use it, right? So the next thing is we'll do a small experiment now, right? So now here we have this heading 2 and the paragraph, right? And for the heading 2, we have this embedded CSS code, which is giving the color of the font turn to brown color. So what I do is in my external CSS file, I will use the similar selection, which will be selecting H2 tags, right? Which will be the same thing. But now in here, I will use the color property and give the different color value, right? So I'll go with this velvet color, right? So here we have the brown, here we have the velvet, right? So now we have select the same tag and giving two different colors for the font. Browser has to decide what it's going to be used. No, that is the thing. So in our code we have given two options. Now browser what will select. So if I go with this and then refresh the page, I'll save these two files and then refresh the page. So this is the second heading. Right now that is in the brown color. Now when I refresh, I can see that still that was in the brown color. Now I'll do a small code change, right? So here we have this link tag which will be telling for the browser that this is the file I want to select to get the external CSS, right? So I'll just remove this from this place and then place it at the bottom. That means after the embedded CSS code, right? After the embedded CSS code. Now if I check, you will be able to see that it changes the color, right? So it changes the color to the velvet color. Why is that? So now with that, what's the final decision, or like how we explain this?
Executing order.
Okay, right. So the CSS, it is comes with the term saying cascading style sheet, no? So in there we say that the last applicable style will remain. Last applicable style. So in this case, you can see that when the browser read from top to bottom, that is how it works. The browser will start to read from top line to the bottom line, and when it's reading the code, or we say compiling the code, it first identify this embedded CSS, right? So this embedded CSS will be identified. So based on that, it will change the color to the brown. That is what it done, right? So it do it, and once it complete, then it understood that there's another file, external file, that need to be compiled. So in there, again it will be start from top to bottom, and when it's starting, now it's identify, okay, so there's another selection that done for the same heading H2, and that time it has to be the velvet color. So now until this code execute, the color of this heading 2 is brown color, but after that what happens, CSS or the browser will ignore the previous or the current color and then apply this new blue velvet. So that is what happens. That's why, like, if we move this onto the top, then the order is different. Now we first read the external style and then apply the velvet. After that, it start to read the embedded CSS code. So in that case, this is the last applicable code for this heading. So therefore, the brown will be remain. Is that clear? So this is what we call the nature of this CSS, that is the cascading behavior. Right. So now here there are a few more other factors that need to be satisfied to make it this cascading behavior, right? So the one option is one factor is to apply this cascading behavior, the selection type, right? So you will be going to learn different selection type later on. So the requirement is the selection type should be same, right? It can't be a different selection type, right? So here we are using the same selection type, no? So this is what I told you, that is the tag selector, right? So even here also we have the tag selector, here also we have the tag selector. So that means the selection type is same. So if the selection type is same, then the cascading behavior can be applied, right? If the selection type is different, we need to see what is the priority that given for the selection type. There's a priority that we are going to learn later on, right? So right now, remember the cascading behavior that you can explain in the way that I explained to you, it should follow the same selection type. Otherwise, you can't go with that cascading behavior, right? So that is a one important thing. So remember that to provide the cascading behavior, you need to first examine whether the selection type is same. If the selection type is different, you are unable to do that. There are some other factors we are going to look at in that case. But if the selection type is same, you can simply tell that the last applicable style will be remain.